to an all-new Tales from the Dorkside.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Brad Reed.
I'm Gog
over here, and we are the Doiks. I said Doiks because I was thinking of our new catchphrase.
Dorks ahoy!
Dorks ahoy!
Doiks ahoy!
Doiks!
You guys are a bunch of doiks, see?
Yeah. I think we should make Dorks ahoy t-shirts.
I'd love to, yeah.
Just at least for just me, I'd love to have a Dorks ahoy shirt.
We can each wear them on the show every week.
Yeah.
And then people will be like, where'd you get those fabulous shirts? And we'll be like, you're not allowed to have one unless you sign up for our Patreon.
I like to keep it exclusive like that.
Yep.
Also because we have no Patreon. So
you really can't have one.
So yeah, you have to sign up for our Patreon to get it. That's the only way.
Yeah. And we won't start a Patreon until we feel like it's appropriate. Like we'll have enough people that actually sign up. So it's an incentive.
Right.
So really what we're doing is we're playing a mind game with our audience. But we probably shouldn't tell them these things.
Yes.
We don't want to key them in on our master plan. Oh, wait. Yeah. We started already.
Yeah, we are started. So
disregard what I just said.
Too late.
Dorks Ahoy shirts for everyone.
I was telling everybody the other day, like something I learned in a band. You know this, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Like if you have a tip jar.
Oh, yeah.
You got to put a couple dollars in to start it.
Right.
I don't know why. I guess people just feel like, oh, somebody else tipped. I probably should too.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't want to initiate things. They don't want to like stir up the status quo, but they're more than happy to participate.
And then, like I noticed, I saw like local bands once just side by side. One local band was giving away their CDs, and another band, your band, was selling them for like $5, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody wanted the free CD. Not at all. They like everybody. And then, somebody could say, well, your band was better than the other band. But no, like they wouldn't even take a free CD.
Yeah, that's weird.
And we talked about that a lot because we feel like it's just like people consider like there's no value in it.
Yeah, like, it can't be any good if it's free.
Yeah. So
they were wrong.
Little did they know. They got the worst. They paid $5 for a CD that they probably chucked out the window on the way home. No, I'm kidding, because it was your band.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's just weird. So we're not going to give away these shirts.
No,
never.
Not free. We would go into
or else you wouldn't want them.
We would go into debt because with a shirt you have to pay for the shirt itself. You have to pay for the printing process. We have to at least make that money back.
Well, there is like, we're going way off topic, like
that's fine.
T-shirt Fury or T-shirt something. Like there's a bunch of them where you can go in and design shirts, and then they won't make them until somebody orders them.
Right, and they'll sell them for $15, $17, and you get like 2 of those.
Yeah. So there
really
is that.
It's like you're balancing like convenience
for not making any money.
Yeah.
Well, but there is a certain kind of cool, like, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. When you see like somebody wearing your shirt from your band or whatever, just out and about.
Yeah.
Like, and especially if you don't know them, it's even better.
That has happened to me at a gas station. And there was a band that like we had been broken up for several years. And I was like pulled into the gas station with the other car facing right at me. And they got out and had a T-shirt with the band name on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet they have no idea that I'm the guy from that band.
Yeah.
They probably just got it at like a thrift store or something.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So somebody that left their trailer out in my yard for like ever, like months. And I thought that they weren't going to ever come get it. And I thought they were never going to come bring me some money they owed me, which they didn't. But they had boxes of shirts. And I was like, it'd be great. I should take all these shirts to the thrift store right now. And then that way, like, tons of people will have shirts. And
probably have no idea that it's a band.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, that's a cool design.
And then this person will be like, oh, those are all the shirts that I had.
Yeah.
But I returned them.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It was the proper thing to do.
Well, police were involved. So let's go to...
all right.
Speaking of police, though.
Oh, nice segue.
I would have liked to have called the Tokyo Gore Police, Gog.
Yeah.
Because
Things probably would have gone a little bit differently if that were the case.
yeah, so the last show that we did, the last movie reviews, we talked vampires. Mm-hmm. And then if you've seen, we did a special vampire horror movie generator that just released recently. So
Yeah.
it's already up by the time you've seen this. But today's theme, thanks to Gog,
Hey, it was my pleasure to recommend this.
is some Japanese horror films.
Yes, some J horror.
Which when you told me that, I was excited because I don't watch a lot of that, but I knew it was going to be like over the top.
Yes.
Because I feel like they're known for that, like maybe like Japanese, Korean movies. Like they're just, the horror movies are like, they're horror.
Yeah. And we picked some interesting choices, because I think a lot of people that have a familiarity with Japanese horror think of like The Ring or The Grudge, like movies that have been remade for an American audience. And we like decided to kind of skip those and just find a couple that were weird and different. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And we're going to talk about One Cut of the Dead here in a few, but we're going to start off with Tokyo Gore Police.
Oh, yeah.
This movie is available on Tubi right now. You can watch it with commercials.
Yep.
And then, let's see, on IMDb, it got a 5.9 out of 10.
Okay.
But on Rotten Tomatoes, an 82% Gog.
That's not bad.
Are you surprised?
Not really.
I'll just say that the newest Ant-Man movie, which I don't think you probably have
I haven't seen it.
It's sitting at 84% right now. So I would have thought Tokyo Gore Police might be a little lower
Well,
than that.
okay, fair enough.
And I mean, they're not really comparable as far as movies, but
No.
But anyway, let me just read you the official, and I'm going to apologize because I'm not going to read a lot of names today.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to apologize up front because I just don't want to butcher them.
We're both going to butcher some names here.
Because then they'll have to call the Tokyo Gore Police on me. But it's a vengeful policewoman battles an army of cyborg creatures that showcase horrific mutations.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And so, so they're called generators, right?
I thought, what is it, engineers?
Engineers, you're right. Yeah. Generators. They're called engineers. And it's because, like, whenever, like, say somebody chops off their arm, they grow a weapon there instead.
Yeah.
Or some kind of way. And so this movie, like, just by the name of it, Tokyo Gore Police, you think it's going to be gory? Yes.
And then some.
It's so gory.
Yeah, but it's gory in like a ridiculous, like kind of cheesy way, almost like a trauma film kind of gore.
Yeah.
It wasn't hyper realistic, so it wasn't like absolutely disgusting to watch.
Right.
There was a lot of moments when some gore scenes would happen, I'd find myself laughing at just kind of the ridiculousness of the situation.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like my wife said this, and I thought she was onto something. It looked like an anime come to life.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's definitely some influence from that, because that's really popular form of storytelling over there is manga and anime, and that's really known for those really over the top, just ridiculous kind of fight scenes, and even the story itself of like these people are transforming into engineers, like it's kind of a common theme.
Now, let me ask you this, Gog, because I don't want to seem, I don't know, culturally insensitive or whatever, but it's harder for me to follow the story sometimes when I can't hear it in English.
Oh yeah.
But I don't like watching the dubbed.
Right, yeah, because the dubs are always very ridiculous and kind of cheesy, and it takes a different approach as a viewer, I feel like, because you really have to pay attention.
Yeah, you do.
You can't have your phone out. You have to be reading and watching at the same time. It's like a nice delicate balancing act, and I've never really until recently been super into watching anything with subtitles, but I've been doing it a little bit more. Yeah, I've been watching some anime as well, and you kind of get used to it. It's just I tend to watch 1 or 2 episodes, not something where I can, with Frasier or something like that, you put it on, you can watch 10 episodes in a sitting, but it's in the background, so even if you're not looking directly at it, you can still hear what's going on and everything.
Well, and I don't like I said, I don't want to take away or seem insensitive, but I feel like, especially with some of the like the Asian movies and stuff, like when I hear other people doing their voice dubs, I feel like I'm not getting the same acting performance.
Right, and that's absolutely right. You don't get like, even when it's just like them screaming or the intensity of their voice and everything. Because, with dubs, they're having to match up the idea of what they're saying, not exactly verbatim what, it would be in the other language, and also trying to like match that to the mouth movements.
Yeah.
So it's like somewhat, believable.
Well, and then so the other issue I had, more so with Tokyo Gore Police than One Cut,
You're welcome, by the way.
was I can't tell if like I'm seeing good acting or
Yeah.
but I feel like Tokyo Gore Police, I feel like they weren't wanting you to walk away saying that was a very well acted movie.
Right. It's an experience. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
That movie is just like a vibe in and of itself. And, I like that it didn't take itself too seriously. I'm sure there was some sort of commentary behind it with like the, corporate, like the corporate aspect of the police and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it just had like these weird segues where it would go into like a weird commercial or something like that.
Yeah.
So it definitely wasn't taking itself
It did
seriously.
have some weird commercials that were like, Harry Carey is still suicide. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Or the kids playing soccer with the dude's head.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so in this regard, this feels like, not that there was like some situations, but it wasn't like this, but it's like a porno.
Oh, yeah.
You're there for like the spectacle, not for like the acting.
Yeah, sure.
So, but yeah, this one was bloody as hell.
Yeah, it was bloody. It
Lots
had
of limbs getting chopped off.
What was your favorite like weapon that came out like out of all of them? Because there was a nice variety. There was the guy with the guns for eyeballs, who was kind of like the main.
There was the guy.
engineer.
Yeah. I don't know.
The guy
like
with the weird dick thing,
yeah, with the dick nub.
the dick gun.
Yeah. Well, kind of like it was the woman who had like the snapper at the end of her,
yeah.
which opened up, and her vagine was also weaponized.
It was. And that was like after the scene in the weird like S&M club.
Yeah.
The nightclub.
Yeah.
And I forget, I think I read somewhere that was inspired by a club that the director went to in another country, like Thailand or something.
Well, it was the way it was filmed was kind of funny too, because like she's like,
yeah, yeah,
and it was just like, oh my God,
right.
But
it wasn't. I'll say it wasn't like, from a cinematic standpoint, if you're thinking about like, a Martin Scorsese or something like that, it's not that kind of movie.
No,
at all.
No.
It's entertainment in kind of a different vein. And I knew halfway through, like I watched about half of it and I was like, I'm going to tell him to watch this. Because I wasn't sure how you would, respond to it.
Well, I got it. Okay, so.
But I knew that like it would be a good talking point.
Exactly. Like
and I really did enjoy it. Like I enjoyed how ridiculous it was.
Yes, I enjoyed that part of it. But it's like one of those where when I'm watching these, I'm trying to think, okay, I'm watching the movie, but I'm also thinking of things that I would want to say on the show about it. And my main thing I would want to say is I would not recommend this movie to anyone that I know necessarily. But there are some of you out there who I know that would love it just because it is over the top. But like the commercials again, like the girls are like cutting themselves.
Oh, that was, yeah.
And they're all
There's
like,
definitely
this is fun.
a self-harm trigger warning in there for sure.
Yeah, but it's just so weird and out of the ordinary that I liked it because like the world that they live in is a completely weird and different world, and I just thought it was there were some things in it that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like that, I wouldn't necessarily recommend you do this in all your movies, but like the way they would film certain things to make it not look so maybe low budget or whatever. It had a little bit of style to it too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I dig it. I like what they did there.
Yeah.
A lot of close-up shots and stuff like that.
Stylistically, it was cool. And the police cars cracked me up because they had like the top of like a temple type of a shrine type of thing on the top of the car.
Yeah.
So there was just a lot of choices that led me to believe that the filmmakers had a good sense of humor. And I'm sure a lot of it's kind of lost in translation of just not completely understanding Japanese culture.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if you're really into gory, like super gory, just ridiculous over the top shit, then hey, give it a go.
Yeah.
But I'm also the guy whose favorite horror movie is Tusk, so you know, that shows you my kind of barometer of what I enjoy.
And I love Tusk too. People who have listened know that we've talked about it. But the thing is so I'm not so much into some of these like low budget type, I don't know.
Like the turkey.
Yeah, like Thanksgiving. But watching them for the show has really kind of given me like a new way to enjoy some movies I never thought I would enjoy. And like Tokyo Gore Police, just to be honest with you, I would have probably just been like, click, 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 going. Like, I'm not going to watch it, on to the next, whatever. Yeah. But watching it now, like, there's a time and a place for these kinds of movies if you're just wanting to watch like a fun, even though it's gory and got really like over the top, like not really mentally healthy things going on or any of that. Like that doesn't bother me though.
Right.
That doesn't bother me at all. Like I think it's all escapism.
Well, and like the root of this story, like I'm going into spoiler territory. So the root of this story, like, is actually like a really, I think, in my opinion, a really well done story because it's about this girl whose father was a policeman, and he ends up getting murdered.
Yeah,
and so she becomes basically like this engineer assassin, and like the chief of police is kind of taking her under the wing, and then there's the big twist where she gets turned into, an engineer, and it turns out that the chief of police guy was the one that ordered to have her father assassinated. So,
right.
And then there's redemption at the end, and so, and like just that from a story standpoint is a really cool idea for a story, and it's got a twist to it. And
if it could have had like a big budget, like special effects, it would have been. I think they could have made a pretty cool movie out of that.
Yeah.
But I sometimes, especially like, what me and you are working and planning on that we won't talk about just yet, but watching the movies where they're making the most out of like some practical effects and stuff like that also kind of inspires me, and I like seeing that too.
I imagine it. I don't remember if it showed the budget on here or not, but I imagine it didn't have a tremendous.
Yeah, it doesn't. It didn't really look like. I'm not saying it looked super cheap, but let's see.
It was shot and completed in 2 weeks.
That makes sense.
Yeah, which with this other movie we're talking about, they also had a very short shooting schedule. So I'm wondering if that's kind of a consistent thing when it comes to making these Japanese horror movies.
Yeah, it doesn't look like I can see any kind of budget, and it doesn't show me how much it made either.
Yeah, it didn't have a ton of information.
But so it didn't look like it was the lowest of budgets, but it definitely wasn't like where they could do a bunch of CGI.
Yeah. So whenever our production company gets huge and we have money to throw out at filmmakers, we'll just we'll get a Japanese filmmaker and remake this one.
Yeah, that'd be
with
dope.
A huge budget.
With a huge budget. But like I say, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I don't know if I'd have given it an 82. Yeah, that seems a little high.
I'd say like a C plus.
I'd say a C plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't have a faint heart, then I would definitely say check this out, and and that's the thing. Like today, we're talking about Japanese horror movies. We didn't promise to cover the best of them.
No,
I think Gog was just like, and this real.
That's kind of what I did. Yeah, because I'd seen some, and so I found two, and I watched them first. I was kind of vetting the situation, and the first one I thought was phenomenal, which is the one we're going to talk about next. And I knew that you would like that one. And then this one was just so ridiculous that I was like, I'm going to make him watch this.
Well, like I said, we've been kind of watching some ridiculous. And to be honest, a ridiculous horror movie is way more fun to talk about than like a boring one.
Right.
So
yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, you want to jump into One Cut of the Dead?
Yes.
This one came out in 2017. This one has a higher IMDb score, 7.6 out of 10. This can't be right. This cannot be right.
What is it?
100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, well, yeah. So when I was doing my research, looking up lists.
That is right.
Of like the top Japanese horror movies, this one was always number one on the list. And I was so curious about that because it seemed like such an unusual movie. And I mean, it was, but yeah, I mean, it apparently did really well.
Well, this is crazy. So 100%, and you might think, well, was it only reviewed by like 2 people? 95 reviews.
Okay.
And 100%. Now, the audience score gave it 87% out of more than 500 ratings.
Okay.
But I would say yes to both of those scores. Like, yeah, I might even give it a 90 as an audience member.
Yeah.
And then, but One Cut of the Dead comes out it came out in 2017. It's only an hour and a half. It feels like a short movie, especially for the first half, because it's a movie that it's like 2 different distinct halves.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a movie inside of a movie.
Yeah, exactly. And spoiler alert.
Yes, we're
for
spoiling.
those who don't know. This movie is like the first 30, 45 minutes, you're like, this is a good movie. And then when it shifts into like the second part, you're like, this movie's genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it starts off, they're filming a zombie movie, and it feels like a zombie movie, but you can tell that they're like, it's a movie. It's like, this is like the dude playing the dude pretending to be the dude.
Yeah.
So it's a TV show that they're filming, and that's why it's called One Cut of the Dead, because like one camera is feeding the TV audience like this whole thing. But in the movie, what the movie we're watching, the director is like so gung ho on getting everything on film and getting this movie filmed, that he raises zombies from the dead.
Yeah.
To attack his actors,
right? To make it hyper realistic,
and so like there's this whole movie that's what this is about. Like the people are trying to get away from the zombies. Some of the people are getting killed and then turning into zombies themselves. It's not like a very super original type zombie movie at this point, but it's a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I was confused during that first 36 minutes. I mean, it's really cool. Like the idea of shooting an entire thing in one take with one camera is very ambitious. And they, pulled it off in that first half of the movie. But I was sitting there kind of thinking, like, why is this a 10 out of 10? Like, why is this the top rated one?
Yeah, it's good.
It was good, but it just seemed like, kind of your run-of-the-mill zombie story. But there was also parts where it was like, that seems a little out of place.
Which
comes back later,
yes.
Which makes it so genius.
Yes, you're right, because me and my wife had pointed that out too, that there was a few just awkward spots, and you're like, okay, whatever.
Well, they did it in one take, so
yeah,
slack.
another lower type budget movie. So yeah. So then you get to the second half of this movie, and it's not a horror movie after this. At all.
No, that's correct.
Which doesn't it doesn't even piss you off, really.
No.
Because what happens is just really cool. The second part of the movie is basically the behind the scenes making of this fake horror movie.
Right. Like how it got,
TV show.
How it even came to be in the first place. It's like this director that's not known for anything big, showy, or ambitious. It's just like the guy that'll go in and get it done.
Yeah, yeah.
And basically this like studio executives come to him and say, hey, this is what you're going to make. You're going to do a 30-minute zombie movie live on TV in one take.
Yes.
And he's just like, oh, shit.
Yeah, yeah.
How is that going to work?
Yeah, and so it becomes a really cool movie about making a movie, about just all the little things that go on. Like, because they always say, like, God laughs at like your plans or whatever.
Yeah.
and they had planned out, they had done, lots of things to make and then things don't go off. And so you start noticing like there was one scene in particular where in the first part where like she's doing like yoga.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're like, why is that here? Well, it's because they're filling time because somebody had like fallen down or messed up a thing or this or that.
I think it was the guy was really drunk.
Okay, yeah. He was out there taking a dump. And,
that too. And they're just sitting there like, do you have any hobbies? And she's like, well, it's not a hobby, but I've been learning self-defense, which comes back later on in the story.
And there was like a couple scenes where I remember there was one where somebody was getting killed off the camera, and it kept going on, but they were like throwing blood up.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, why is this taking so long? And so you see it the second time
like they're
around.
just trying to buy time because they're trying to get the next shot set up.
Yeah, or where their crane broke. And
so they have to build the human pyramid to climb up. And
yeah.
Which is even like noticeable, like when you think back to the first part you watched, you're like, it looked like a crane shot, but like a janky one.
Yeah.
And you're like, I wonder why it looked like that.
Exactly. So like the way they tied it all together. Because, I mean, it wasn't like they really tried to do the one cut and this was all, like everything was all by design.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just really so clever. And they didn't leave anything out on the second half where they're going to, show you some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Like it kind of takes place. So like the first part and the second part kind of takes place in real time.
Yeah.
As it's going.
Right.
So... I mean, really dope concept. Could totally see like this being like a movie. We were talking about like remaking it with a big budget. I don't think you would want to remake this with a bigger budget because the low budget part of it is what really works for it.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't mind if like they made an American version.
Yeah.
Which I know I'm not, again, I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to be insensitive about that either. I just think it'd be cool because so many people would see, so many more people like in America would see that version.
Kind of get exposed to it. And then,
but it's our job to say, hey, go see this because One Cut of the Dead, just as it is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And some fun factoids about this one. They shot the one shot, the first 37 minutes in 2 days. And it says it took 6 takes to get the cast and crew, which really isn't that bad if you think about it.
No.
That's, 3-4 hours total. Because once you hit go with that, that's it. Like you're off the race. You're off to the races.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then I guess, I'm not sure if this is for the entirety of the film or for the rest of it, but it says shot in 8 days. So that's why I was like saying, like back to the other one that was shot in 2 weeks, like just shot very quickly and efficiently.
Man, and for them to, like I say, for One Cut of the Dead to film it in 8 days and it be as good as it is, but again, that quick filming and the low budget, all of that makes it even better.
Yeah.
So I'm not really proposing that they make a big budget remake of that ever because that wouldn't be as good.
Yeah.
But I would like to see like maybe, because they do that all the time with like let the right one in. And so, but man, such an amazing accomplishment by them, I think, because really you have like what amounts to a short film with One Cut of the Dead as far as the first 36 minutes.
Right.
And then to go back and be like, well, let's do this on the second half of it. You know what I mean? It's a really good concept.
Yep. I dug it. And it makes me want to watch more Japanese horror movies for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any other facts about it before we get out of here?
Well, the cost, $25,000 to make it, and it made over $25 million.
Oh my God. $25,000, Gog.
Yeah, that's not much.
So for, some of the ideas that we've been tossing around, things we're working on, we could probably get some people to crowdsource. We could make one for 25 grand.
Yeah.
Maybe get like our grandma to kick in.
Yeah, I'll get my dead grandmas on it.
Our dork grandmas.
Yep.
But yeah, that's and made $25 million. What are they doing now?
That's a good question.
Because they made this in 2017.
Right.
I wonder if they were like, you know what? Let's just kick it.
Yeah, we're good.
Like, because I'd be tempted, like if I made like a great movie that made $25 million right off the bat, I'd be tempted to be like, Let's not mess that up.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it.
We got a good record.
Yeah.
It's like that one author on Frasier.
Yeah.
He writes the one book.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to write anything else.
Yeah, we'll be 1-0. I'm cool with that.
He's done some other stuff since then. Quite a bit, actually. Oh, interesting. He did a Persona 5 animation for a TV series, Persona 5, or the Persona series is a really popular JRPG video game series. It looks like he's done like a lot of directing for anime.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
So
might have to check out some more stuff.
He's got plenty of work. There's more movies and things like that.
Well, as a I guess bonus, we're not going to go into it, but I'm trying to look up the name of it though, because I sent it to you the other day. But there's like a Netflix show.
Junji Ito.
Yeah, it's a Netflix show, and it's Japanese horror, but it's all anime style.
Yeah.
It's called Japanese Tales of the Macabre.
Yeah, so that's based on the work of Junji Ito, who is a very famous horror mangaka from Japan. Mm-hmm. He makes manga. I just got one of his books, and he is kind of notorious for that. Have you seen the drawing? It's like a black and white ink drawing with the big spiral eye on one side.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of his panels.
Nice.
And so I'm assuming I think I watched like part of the first episode on that series.
Yeah.
But it's based on his stories.
Cool.
So I'm not sure like how involved he was or anything like that, but it looks pretty interesting. And I guess they've done a few other adaptations of his work over the years.
That's awesome.
I'll see if I can find.
I really enjoyed it. Man, the visuals on that. Like if you're doing a little puff and pass or don't pass either way. Because I don't puff and pass anymore. I just puff and puff.
Yeah, I just keep on puffing.
Yeah, because in the day and age post COVID, you know. Oh yeah, that's
this
dope.
picture that everybody's probably seen.
Yeah,
but yeah, he just draws some wild, weird stuff.
But yeah, I was sitting there watching it and like, ooh, this is awesome. Oh yeah, that's cool.
So I'm excited I just got his book yesterday, and the one I got, I think he has a series, I don't remember what it's called, that's really popular, and then I got one that's just like a collection of short stories.
Right.
But yeah, there's, coming from Japan, I think a lot of people assume that, a lot of stuff from Japanese culture is just weird. And a lot of it is. But I think that's why I'm so drawn to a lot of it is it's just, it's something very different than, what we have to offer. And
I think some of it comes from and I'm not an expert or even anything like that. The most I've studied is like Eastern philosophy and stuff. Mm-hmm. But being like that, they have like a very spiritual background.
Yes, they do.
I think influences some of that.
Right. Yeah. Because a lot of their main stories in Japanese horror are more about like spirits and things like that. Mm-hmm. Not so much necessarily, people getting their limbs cut off and growing weird dick machine guns.
Yeah. That'd be dope though.
Yeah.
Because if you lose your dick, you're going to be like, man, what am I going to do now?
And then it grows into a giant machine gun.
Yeah. And then you're like, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Some people have to pay for that.
Going to the gun range.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if that's the gun range. They're like, put your dick away. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice gun.
Sir, do you have a license for that thing?
Yeah. Oh, if you had a dick that was a gun, and I was like, can I borrow your dick gun to take to the gun range?
Yeah. If it was detachable, sure, why the hell not?
I don't think many people borrow their friends' guns though.
Just clean it before you bring it back.
Yeah. No. All right. Well,
good. We're getting to the derailment part of the episode.
Yeah. This is always where it's time to wrap it up. Mm-hmm. But we did release some some more watch-alongs. The last one we did was Inside the Closet, and then we'll have A Case of the Stubborns coming out.
Yeah.
It will be the next one for you guys. And Gin No Chaser coming up after that. We also, on our next reviews, we're going to look at some foreign werewolf movies, Gog.
We are indeed.
Brotherhood of the Wolf is a French one that I recommended. It came out early 2000s. And then there's a newer movie. Did you get a chance to watch it yet?
Not yet.
It's called Viking Werewolf
I like the name.
on Netflix. See, I didn't. I was like, that sounds like kind of like Sharknado or something.
Velocipaster.
Yeah, one of those but this movie's really, really good.
Nice.
And
Cocaine Bear.
yeah. Although Cocaine Bear sounds fun.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. Viking Werewolf, I just thought it was going to look like one of like the Vikings show.
Oh, okay.
But, they're getting ravaged by werewolves, and that's not, it's modern.
Yeah. Although that other premise sounds pretty cool too.
Yeah. It just sounded a little goofy.
Sure.
But this movie isn't goofy. It's like a really good werewolf movie.
Nice.
And the best werewolf movie that Norway's ever made.
Awesome.
Do you want to know why?
Is it the only one they've ever made?
It is the only one they've ever made, but it was super good. So
awesome.
We'll talk about that on the next.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Tales from the Dorkside. So you know what to do, Gog.
Dorks ahoy!
It'd be funny, like the next episode, if you say Dorks ahoy, and then like we have somebody off screen like throw shit at you.
Yeah.
Like you're on a boat and you're getting hit by water
Yeah.
and dork stuff.
Just add that in post. Add like a wave splash that comes in.
Yeah.
I guess like a transition.
Dorks ahoy! All right. That's it. That's the show.
I dig it.